Well, there was a sliver of hope that the Disney Plus series Daredevil Born Again, starring Charlie Cox, would turn out to be decent. But apparently, that's changed. All right, well, since you're here and I can't resist a horrible pun, I dare you, see what I did there? To hit the subscribe button, the notification icon, and like the video so I can see what you did there. Now, so it appears as though the Disneyfication that we all feared is complete, as Charlie Cox is quoted as saying that the Daredevil Born Again series will, quote, appeal to a slightly younger audience without losing what we've learned about what worked. Interesting, but he does go on. There's a little bit more. Gotta get through all this stuff. So, he did follow that up with this. This has to be a reincarnation. It has to be different. Otherwise, why are we doing it? Said Cox. Okay, so bottom line, and there is still a little bit more, so don't tune out just yet, is that Charlie Cox is an actor. This is a payday for him, period. That's it. So it doesn't matter what script he's given, what changes are made to the character. He's going to do exactly what the script demands, because it's a paycheck, and I don't blame the man for that. Not in the slightest. There seems to be, on the fringes of the fandom, some inability to separate the actor from the character, and very toxic. It shouldn't be done. I don't blame Charlie Cox for doing this in the least bit. And if you really start to kind of look in between the lines, I imagine Charlie Cox is a very intelligent person, because what he's really basically doing here is setting an expectation level to possibly ensure future seasons. That is to say, if there's just nothing being said, and obviously Disney is not going to say anything about it, and it's rather or even very kid-friendly, but fans are expecting a version of Charlie Cox's Daredevil from the Netflix TV show that was, shudder to use the word adult in a lot of respects, because that immediately conjures up something much more hardcore than it is. And it's terrible that society's devolved into that. But the bottom line is that the Netflix series, close to the comic book in presenting a quote-unquote real version of Daredevil, wasn't sugar-coated, but it wasn't graphic gore and blood and guts and nudity and high-concept metaphysical questions. No. It was a product that could and was enjoyed by a huge majority of people, including children. Disney doesn't seem to operate on that level. That's not acceptable to them. They need to kitty it up. They need to dumb it down, etc., etc. So faced with that script, faced with that prospect, I think Charlie Cox was just smart enough to go, hey, I got to lower the expectations here, or there's going to be some really awful feedback, which could jeopardize the season 2. Like I said, there is a little bit more, so let's keep going. They did actually also bring up his representation, shall we say, of Daredevil in the walking abomination that was She-Hulk. And again, he has to play the part. He says that version was more quick-witted and funny and charismatic and carefree at times. My opinion is this character works best when he's geared towards a slightly more mature audience. My instinct is that on Disney Plus, it will be dark, but probably won't be as gory. So, a second rather intelligent deflection. Gore was not really an aspect of the Daredevil show from a excessive or appealability fact there, because again, it was more real. So, he wants people to watch this show. If he just leaves it off with Kitty or whatever else, a lot of fans might just tune out, they might wait for word of mouth, blah, blah, blah. But if instead he says, hey, look, it's going to be the same, it's going to be dark, but we just won't have as much gore. Most people are like, that's okay. I wasn't watching it for the gore. So you're telling me it's going to be dark, it's still adult, cool. But the underlying current here, and the track record of Disney, says it's not going to be adult, mature. It is going to be kiddyified. And this poor guy is just trying to save his job or set up more jobs in the future. So then we wrap kind of things up a little bit here. They asked him, hey, any words for the many fans who are disappointed by the lighter tone that Daredevil Born Again is reportedly taking? And he said, I would say to those people, we've done that, referring to the darker aspects, I suppose. Let's take the things that really worked, but can we broaden? Can we appeal to a slightly younger audience without losing what we've learned about what works? The answer is, as usual, no, you can't, because you're not going to do that. And when I say you, of course, I don't mean Charlie Cox. They've got this thing in their brain that we make children's content and absolutely nothing but, despite the fact that we have decades of proof and month-old, year-old, whatever proof that things that are more mature make money. Bottom line, that's their concern. That's their interest. You have to wonder at the just insanity that goes through a studio executive's mind when on their own product, their own channel, Disney Plus, they can look at the numbers that kid-friendly, so to speak, Miss Marvel, or kid-friendly even Abomination that is She-Hulk, and see the numbers and see them fall and see the fan reaction, which I know they don't care about, but the numbers. They see the numbers, and they see them falling every week, and they see them being low to start with. And then they have Werewolf by Night, and when they look at that, what do they see? They see the numbers going up every week, which that's been released. That's been proven. So it's kind of like, oh, I have this. Werewolf by Night would definitely fall on the side of mature Disney, right? In the fact that it wasn't super kid simple. It was good, for Christ's sakes. And yes, it did have gore. It did. I'm not going to argue that because, again, gore's not the point. Take the gore out of Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night is still awesome. So all these things are there, and Disney just won't do it. And so, especially with the way that Charlie Cox worded everything, I think that if anyone had any lingering doubt that Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus was going to be nothing but a hot mess, this has laid that to rest. They wrap up the article real quick by actually saying that filming is going to start shooting in February 2023 and finish in December. So we're looking, probably late 2024 before we ever have this thing. But when we do, I suspect, sadly, that will be fodder for weekly reaction videos. Get ready for that. So, that being said, any hope out there from anyone? If so, let me know in the comment section below.